Okay, this is copywriter Mike Pavlish. I'm here with Chris Bergeth, and we're reviewing a supplement sales letter that's selling a weight loss supplement. Let me pull it up here on screen share. Here we go. Okay, well, actually, I probably didn't hit screen share. Let me see if I did or not. No, I did not. Okay. On the intake call here, Chris had mentioned to me that the response to this so far was a C or blah. So is that still correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I would say that's still accurate. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's the old, that's not the new one. Let me find out why this isn't trying to get this one right. This one right here, I want to screen share.
Yep, that's the one.
Yep. Okay, it says I'm screen sharing. Okay.
Yep, I can see it.
All right, so let's start off right at the top.
Okay.
Just so you know, the product here is gummies. So that's what makes it a little unique than your typical weight loss diet supplement.
Right.
Okay, so you got a good pre-head here. And then what happens is eat this weird dessert twice a day to slim down fast. I think one problem is going to be no one wants to eat a weird dessert because it's probably going to taste like crap if it's weird. Yeah, so that we'll get back to, but I don't think, you want your dessert to taste good. And if it's weird, it just connotates in the mind that it's not going to taste good.
Okay.
Down here, we see, right next, we see weight loss candy. So what happens is the human mind hates anything that's not, the human mind hates anything that's complex or that doesn't resonate with each other. So here you're seeing dessert, here you're seeing candy, and those two juxtapose each other. And the human mind just, if you wired it like an EKG, you would see it going. It would be very disturbed and not in a conducive buying mood because it's either a dessert or a candy. And those two like contradict a little bit, and it's just not a smooth setup, which we don't want any, we don't want the mind working against us right away. That's death.
Correct.
We go into a classic quiz funnel, which is best for weight loss or faster metabolism. So like there's no setup between the dessert, and then we got the candy, then we got something totally different. What's best for faster metabolism? So now the mind is even more confused.
Yeah, so we tested putting a bunch of desserts there. Which dessert is better for a faster metabolism? And for whatever reason, this kicked the crap out of it every time.
Okay.
But carry on, just so you know, it's just a weird result.
No, that makes sense. It makes sense because it's a lot more congruent. You're talking, at least you've got a dessert here and you got desserts here. Whereas this is like
the dessert one failed, is what I'm saying. This won, so it was weird.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So here you go. So you've got people, with the old quiz funnel, which works better.
Yeah.
Going to shock you. Okay. Then we get into two before, great. These are great before and after photos, 2 before and after studies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then we get into, and these are like fascinations, the myth of calories in, calories out, how some people naturally burn 40% more calories.
Mm-hmm.
brain chemicals, bizarre prison study. And I know what the writer's trying to do here is just keep the person reading. But I don't think we've got them hooked in at all yet, because we haven't at all gotten them. Like, in other words, let me give you an example. Here's a piece I did. Let me have you just watch this for a second. That deals with something similar.
Yeah.
And this is a grand slam home run. This also sells diet supplements. It's going to do $10 million in sales. It's on track to, and very profitably. So you can see the difference here. Okay, so it goes on a personal story.
Yep.
One of the things that I would recommend here is, one of the things I found buried down here is your personal story.
Yes.
And this is you have a very dramatic, good personal story. And I can tell you've spent a lot of time honing this in.
Mm-hmm.
Have you used this in a lead in any of your diet supplements before?
Yes, we did on an info product about 1.5 years ago. And it was okay. It wasn't a gangbusters.
Yeah. See, I think you've got a great story. It goes on, you almost had a heart attack, and
Mm-hmm.
I have a similar personal story, but what I would do is this. Here's how I think you'll get a huge lift in response here.
Great.
I would make those changes I talked about and keep the headline just in singular and focus. Then it would get into a story about how it's your sweet tooth and your carbs that are causing you to be overweight. But let's face it, you're not going to give up your sweet tooth and your carbs.
Right.
You know, and you know what? Everybody's going to nod their head up and down saying that's right, because you love them too much. We all do. And then I would go in to say, wouldn't the ideal situation be this? If you could find a way, something that was sweet, but that actually not only tasted great, but that helped you lose weight. They nod their head again. Well, I know that seems impossible, and that's what I thought too. But and then go into a discovery story.
Okay.
About how you discovered these nutrients. Actually, I would, after what I just said, Chris, I would go into a personal story.
Got it.
And then I would go into
my personal story, or?
Yeah, yours or one of these two that you have here.
Okay. Got it.
Because let's look at what happens here as opposed to what I just said. You know, these are fascinations, but these are all like different unique mechanisms. So, I mean, this is like a lot for a person to take in. It's like, it's like you're teaching, or like the writer's teaching someone a class on all these different myths and theories about weight loss. And the person watching this is just like, I just want to know how to lose my damn weight.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think we should go with one story, one unique mechanism, one powerful story, and just keep it narrow and focused and keep it on the slippery slope.
Okay.
This is straight benefit copy, which, you see in any diet sales letter. Now
Mhm.
here, you have a great story. I'm impressed with your story from a sales standpoint.
Okay, good. Because I've thought about taking me out of it altogether.
People really, when you do post-exit surveys of these weight loss sales, they buy, people say, why did you buy? And most of them say it's because of the story of the person that told the story.
Right.
People's minds are simple. I think as marketers, we tend to try to get a little fancy, and we know we need a unique mechanism and all that, and good positioning and all that, but
Yeah.
people really decide to buy or not based on a good story.
Okay.
See, this is a great story. You're talking about your doctor gave you this plan, but didn't work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's where I think it gets off track again.
Okay.
All these different theories, like a professor teaching about weight loss. The myth, this is fine, the myth of calories in versus calories out, right?
Yeah.
But now we get into another theory about weight loss. This would probably be my main hook right here.
Okay.
You know why? Everybody knows that some people burn more calories than others and have a faster metabolism, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this one right here, calories in, calories out, so many people don't believe that. No matter how you try to convince them, they're going to say, I don't believe it.
Right.
You're swimming against the tide. You're swimming against the stream. Here, everybody has a friend or someone they know that eats pizza and pasta and drinks too much, and they're skinny.
Got it.
So we're going to position your product to take advantage of, so that your product is going to turn them into this kind of a person.
Yep.
And that's music. I mean, that just boom, that's what they want. So I would position this as the unique mechanism.
Okay.
And I know there's a lot of research on it because I've used it. I've written over 40 or 45 weight loss supplement.
Yeah.
Going back to the berry trim, which was the biggest success ever in direct mail. And that was a long time ago. But I mean, even every year I write many weight loss supplement promotions.
Right.
See, like I would probably get rid of this. It's not because it's not interesting or good. It just, let's just keep it, let's keep, one main idea, one main unique mechanism,
So that goes to the heart of the product. And I think part of our problem is that it's a dual mechanism product.
Right.
It's appetite suppressant and fat burning. If you were to choose one of those, I would always choose fat burning, because people want to eat whatever they want as much as they want and then burn it off. Whereas appetite suppressant is telling me I'm not going to eat as much. That doesn't sound as attractive, right?
Chris, when my first, say, 10 years of copywriting, I used to try that appetite suppressant thing.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I tried it. So you're right. You're exactly right. People want a fat burner.
Okay.
They don't want anybody telling them they're going to eat, that this is going to, it just, I don't know, they don't believe it, or it doesn't resonate right with them. It just doesn't work. I mean, we could talk about why it doesn't work till the cows come home.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Just doesn't work. This I think is, I don't think this is helping you at all. But see, your story is great. I think your story is what you want to,
Okay.
you want to feature. Yeah.
Okay.
If you notice, my critique is totally different than other people critique. You know, other people would say, oh, you should have used, this should be, instead of couldn't, this should be could not. And my thing is,
in my experience, those things don't
yeah, right.
move the needle.
I'm not going to critique the copy when it's the idea, and usually it's not, you know, someone as advanced and successful as you've got all the nuts and bolts here.
Yeah.
It just needs to be reassembled, repositioned.
Right. We need the big idea.
That's right.
We don't need window dressing. We don't need to rearrange the shelf.
Yeah,
we need a new shelf. Yeah.
And I'll get into that a little later if we have time.
Okay.
Oh, another big thing I forgot to mention though, at the beginning of the very beginning of the promotion up at the top, I don't want to go back because I don't want to make people dizzy. Let's show photos and pictures of the gummies.
Of the dummies?
Gummies.
Oh, the gummies. Yeah. Okay.
Only because
right up top.
It's very different.
Yeah.
I bet in a year from now, weight loss gummies will be very common, but right now they're not.
Yeah.
So I want to hit that hard because anytime you have a different delivery mechanism, it can crush it. And then everybody sees it's working and then they pile on and they come out with their own gummies. So I think it's very important to have that. As soon as someone sees the page, they know it's a gummy.
Great.
That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, this thing about hunger suppression and all this. Yeah, I mean, I would have this in the copy. You know, I was hungry all the time, like I'm sure you are, and all that. But I don't think we need this whole thing about hunger suppression and all that.
Okay.
In fact, I see that the two ingredients you're using in this supplement are grains of paradise, also called peroxidine, and the other one is 5-HTP, which is a mood booster, a serotonin booster.
Yep.
The grains of paradise is interesting because it's an African spice.
Yep.
And what I like about that is it has an exotic, intriguing, sexy background story. Because it's Africa, it's a spice. It's people in the supplement market, in the weight loss market, love an exotic story from a faraway land.
Yep.
Like they just can't get enough of it. And you know, you could, if you traveled to Africa, discover the spice, or if a professor or researcher did, you can show pictures of Africa. There's a lot your imagination and creativity can do to really, you can say like you were shocked or the researcher was shocked that even though the people in a big city in Africa are surprisingly prosperous, and they are in a lot of cities, and they eat just like Americans do, basically, that whoever looked around and people were all thin and not overweight. Well, person wondered, how could this be? I see him eating all this carbs and fat and sweets and desserts, and how could this be? Well, you know, I learned it was due to this African spice.
Yep, got it. Yeah, we go really deep here on the hormone issue with hunger and everything, and I think it gets really confusing.
I do too. And when I read this, my mind was, I want people just to stay on a train track from the opening to the buy button and put their credit card in. Here
Yeah.
was I was reading this letter. My mind was like this, and I went,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
You know, as an aside, you also have an interesting opportunity with this product to get it into retail stores, I think.
Well, yeah, I'd love to.
I'll tell you why. About 8 years ago, I started a company, and my lead product was called Slim Mints.
Yeah.
And I got it in all of the Walmarts, Walgreens, CVS's, Targets, 34,000 stores over.
Wow.
And a big reason for that, Chris, was it was the first, I came up with the idea and everything, was the first delivery mechanism of a weight loss ingredients in a mint like Altoids.
Oh, okay.
And you kind of got the same thing here with Slim Sweets.
Yep.
So I could see this selling very well in stores with like a see-through bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Because your name, Slim Sweets, is a terrific name for a retail product.
Yeah, that's kind of why we picked it.
Yeah, that's a million dollar plus name, Slim Sweets. And if you have any aspirations to go into retail, you should do that sooner rather than later, only because if you get that first mover advantage, you'll have a huge advantage.
Yeah, I wish I knew how to get it into retail.
Well, I do. I did it, so I know how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna hire you then.
Yeah, and then I sold it out to a big corporation, had a nice exit because they like those kind of products that are.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, coming to the end of this little mini critique. So do you have any questions or anything?
No, I think
go over
so.
more?
What I'm thinking now is push my story to the forefront more, emphasize the grains of paradise, and then we can have a short spiel on 5-HTP and talk briefly about how I don't ever want to use the word suppressant, but I want to say you'll be in control of your hunger. You won't feel this ravenous, like you're a slave to your hunger all the time. Does that sound better? Or would you just kind of nuke all discussion of 5-HTP whatsoever?
Well, I think you should mention it briefly like you just did.
Yeah.
Because you only have 2 ingredients in the product.
Right.
So I think that's good. I would just kind of keep this in mind. I would be like 80-90% on the fat burner and only 10 or 20% on the appetite. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly the direction I'm going. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is gonna be a lot shorter because we spend a lot of words, which is great. It's just great. So no, this has been extremely educational, Mike. I really appreciate your time. I love what you're doing here. I've watched them all, and I'm excited to dive into this. This is
Okay, good.
Great.
Good. How would you rate this on a 1 to 10 rating scale?
Given how short it was, I've given it a 10. Like it's,
okay.
I mean, I'll give it a 9 for now. I'll give it a 10 as soon as we see how the split test does.
I like that. I like that answer.
I thought it was great, though. I thought it was
Good.
fantastic.
Okay. Well, thanks for your time. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon. Okay.
Yeah. Sounds
right.
good. Sorry, my connection got a little jumpy there. That's great. I'll reach out to you about this retail stuff here in a little bit. Thanks, Mike.
Take care. All right.
Bye now.
Bye now.